Good morning, crafty peeps. I have another project share for you, and this is for Country Craft Creations. And if you would like to purchase any of these papers, you can get them at www.countrycraftcreations.com. And the paper collection that I used was the extended kit from the Craftology box, Vintage Emporium by Prima, which I adore. Totally love this collection. You'll be seeing me make a lot more from this. This is just one of those paper lines that I absolutely really fell in love with. So basically for this, I used a 8x10 canvas that I purchased from my local craft store, and then I cut the first layer of paper and then I glued it down with the Aleene's Fabric Fusion, which I used pretty much throughout this whole entire thing. I used very little score tape on this, only because it was going to be a wall hanging, and I have a lot of these heavy pieces. So after I used the distresser, which I love, around the edges, I went ahead and I put a layer of lace going straight through the canvas, going horizontally. And then I went ahead and took some extra strips of paper and kind of did, like, I think 1, 2, 3. And this originally did not have holes in it, but I went ahead and put the holes in there with my We Are Memories keepers, but it was supposed to look like, you know, a ripped page from a spiral notebook. So I went ahead and added that kind of in there. This is just some vintage laces that I got from a local antique shop. Right here I used a little wooden flourish, and then I painted it with a teal metallic paint. The flowers I made myself. I basically took the seed packet Spellbinders die and cut it out numerous times and really layered my flowers this time. So let me kind of zoom in here so you can see. So instead of just doing 2 petals, I did, looks like 3. And then I sprayed it with some Lindy Stamp Gang sprays that I have, which was the Autumn Leaves collection and the Mermaid collection. And then I had some of these little, I don't know what you call these little stems. And what I did was I dipped them in the glue, and then I dipped them in embossing powder, and then heated it up to dry. And I think it turned out really nice. I really like, sorry, little strings here. I really like how this turned out. I used one of the Prima tiles right here. I used a Spellbinders oval die to get this, and then I actually did use my score tape on the back of this to get it in this fashion without burning my fingers or drying too fast. So that really worked for me to do this oval shape right here. This is some of the ephemera. This piece, and that was from the Tales of You and Me collection. And then these 2 little flowers are actually from the new line Heaven Sent. So I kind of did a mixture. Oh, and this little jar right here is from the ephemera from the French Riviera, and all I did was use another piece of the Tales of You and Me ephemera, glued it on there, and then wrapped some twine and glued that on there also. Now these little pieces right here, I made with my IOD mold from Prima, and also this one too, and then I just painted this one a teal color. This one I did kind of like a oyster eggshell color, and then sprayed it on top with the corals, Lindy Stamp Gang, and then just kind of wiped it off to give it a, I didn't want it to have like that spotted look, so I had to wipe some of it down to get it to look a little more even. So basically that's all I did. The frame itself was actually originally black with silver, and I wasn't happy with that. So then I used a Bow Bunny gesso that I got from another one of my Craftology box kits from March. I apologize, March. And so I went ahead and distressed it, and then I did it like an eggshell color like here. And then I was like, you know what, it just, something doesn't look right. It was too matchy with this, and it didn't really stand out on its own. So I went ahead and did it black, and then I just added in this little, you know, mold that I used using my plaster of Paris, which I don't suggest using plaster of Paris for these molds, just because it's really messy, and a lot of times the plaster of Paris goes over the mold, and you really have to wipe it off quickly, because if it dries, then it's too late and it will look kind of cray-cray. Let me see if I can show you a piece of what I mean by that. Here you go. Okay, so like if you don't wipe it off, you will get all this stuff in between, and you don't want that. You know, that's not part of the dye. So anyway, I hope you all like this project. I have another one that I'm going to show you that I also used with Vintage Emporium, so let me grab that real fast. Okay, so I did an altered bottle. So let me zoom in a little bit here. There we go. Okay, so basically what I did is I gessoed the jar first. This is a Chambord bottle, and I gessoed it first with my Bo Bunny gesso, and then I came back on top of it and sprayed it with some blue and coral and copper sprays, and then just did it really lightly. So if you can see that underneath there. Then after that dried, I went ahead and Mod Podged some of the Vintage Emporium papers, and I just kind of like tore them up and placed them on here. Again, here is some ephemera from the Tales of You and Me, like this little postcard, and then this little stamp right here. This actually I think is a cutout that I cut this out from, I think, one of the cards from the Vintage Emporium in the back of the book, one of the ephemera pieces. Right here I basically took a little metal die that I got from one of my other Craftology box kits, and then I sprayed it and embossed it, and then I went on top of it with a Prima Vintage Rose chalk distresser. I'm sorry, it says Old Rose, my bad. And then I had a piece of jewelry that was gifted to me, and I went ahead and glued that on there with my glue gun, and then I added some Swarovski stones, which are here, here, and here, so it's pretty glittery. Oh, and here's another piece of ephemera. This lace right here, I got, I'm sorry, I can't remember where I got it, but I basically used a that fabric glue that I have to glue these on here, and then right here is some vintage laces that I wrapped around here, around the bottle. Here we go, there's another one. So I did 2 of those. Here's another tag from the collection that I attached to some chipboard, then did a copper eyelet and added that in there. And then right here I basically used some black distress, like a gesso, a black gesso, and then sprayed some of the copper sprays on top of it. And so this is kind of what I ended up with, and I think it turned out real pretty. Oh, I forgot I did another lace down at the bottom, and then I added like Swarovski crystal going around the whole entire thing. So I hope you all like the projects that I came up with. I hope that these inspire you to purchase the Vintage Emporium. I know that Tamara still has a little bit left. I'm not sure how much, but if you really want this collection, which I know you will, go ahead and head on over to her store at countrycraftcreations.com, and I hope you all have a wonderful and fabulous day. Bye, y'all.